Let me begin with something very simple. Something we often overlook because it is too close to our hearts. Strength does not always roar. Sometimes strength whispers. Sometimes it prays silently. Sometimes it wipes tears in the dark so that smiles can appear in the morning. That strength is a mother. A mother's life is rarely loud. Her sacrifices do not come with announcements. Her struggles do not trend. Her prayers are not spoken on stages. They happen quietly, late at night, early in the morning, in moments when no one is watching. And yet those silent prayers have the power to shape destinies. A mother may not always have answers, but she always has faith. When a child steps out into the world, the mother stays back, folding her worries into prayers. When the child fails, she feels the pain before the child even speaks. When the child succeeds, she smiles quietly, often in the background, telling everyone else it's all God's grace, never mentioning the sleepless nights, the fears, the silent tears. There's a story of a young man who once asked his mother, "Why do you always wake up before everyone else?" She smiled and said, "So I can talk to God without interruptions." Years later, when that young man faced the toughest phase of his life, career failures, rejection, loneliness, he remembered those words. He realized that long before he learned how to fight the world, his mother had already been fighting unseen battles for him. A mother's strength is not always physical. It is emotional, spiritual, and deeply resilient. She carries the weight of the family's emotions silently. When everyone else breaks down, she holds herself together so others can lean on her. And when no one needs her at that moment, she finally allows herself to feel. Many mothers give up their dreams not because they don't matter, but because someone else matters more. This is not weakness. This is love in its purest form. But society often forgets to honor this strength because it looks ordinary. We praise visible achievements, but we forget invisible endurance. There was a woman who loved studying. She dreamed of becoming a teacher. Marriage came, then children, then responsibilities. Life took over. Years later, her son stood on a stage receiving an award. In his speech, he said, "If I am standing here today, it is because my mother taught me discipline, patience, and belief." Even though she never got to live her own dream, she cried that day not out of regret, but out of quiet fulfillment. Her dream lived on through her child. A mother's prayers are different from anyone else's. They are not always about success or wealth. They are about safety, character, and peace. She prays that her child becomes kind, not just successful. She prays that her child finds good people, not just good opportunities. Even when she scolds, even when she appears strict, love is always at the center. Sometimes, a mother's strength is tested in silence, when her child doesn't understand her sacrifices, when her efforts go unnoticed, when she is taken for granted, yet she continues. Not because she is unaware, but because her love is unconditional. There was a mother whose son moved abroad. Months passed without a call. Years passed with only short messages. Every evening, she still prepared tea at the same time, hoping the phone would ring. It didn't, but she never complained. She said, "He must be busy building his life." That is strength, the kind that does not demand, does not guilt, does not control. A mother teaches lessons not through lectures but through living, through patience when tired, through kindness when hurt, through faith when afraid. Children may not notice it immediately, but life eventually teaches them what their mother already knew. Behind every confident child is a mother who once doubted herself but chose courage anyway. Behind every disciplined adult is a mother who stayed consistent even when it was exhausting. Behind every emotionally strong person is a mother who absorbed pain so her child wouldn't have to. Our mother's silent prayers often protect us from dangers we never even realize. We call it luck. We call it coincidence. But many times, it is a mother's faith standing like an invisible shield. As children grow older, they often misunderstand their mother's worries as interference. They don't realize that a mother never truly retires from caring. Even when her body grows tired, her heart remains alert. Even when her voice grows softer, her concern remains strong. There is a unique loneliness in motherhood too. A loneliness that comes from giving so much and asking for so little. Many mothers do not want grand gestures. They want understanding, respect, time, a simple conversation where they are not just needed but heard. Strength is often associated with independence, but a mother's strength lies in connection. Her life is woven into others. Her happiness is tied to the well-being of her family. Yet within this connection, she finds meaning. There was an elderly mother who once said, "I don't need my children to stay with me forever. I just want them to remember my values wherever they go." That is wisdom. That is strength matured into peace. A mother's prayers do not stop when children grow up. They only change form. She prays for marriages, for health, for inner peace. She prays quietly, trusting that life will be kind. If you look closely, you will realize that many of the strongest people you know were raised by women who never called themselves strong. They simply did what love asked of them. So today, if you are a mother listening to this, know this: your silent efforts matter. Your prayers are heard. Your strength is real. Even if the world does not always acknowledge it, life does. And if you are someone who has a mother, remember this: the greatest gift you can give her is not success alone, but gratitude. Not money alone, but presence. Not achievements alone, but character. Because long after words are forgotten, long after roles change, a mother's silent prayers continue to echo through the lives she has touched. That is her hidden strength. And even when a mother grows older, when her steps slow down and her hands begin to tremble slightly, her heart remains the same, alert, caring, deeply connected. Age does not reduce a mother's love, it only refines it. What once was expressed through action slowly transforms into wisdom, blessings, and silent hope. Many mothers reach a stage in life where they feel invisible. Their children are grown, their responsibilities seem fewer, the house becomes quieter, society begins to look past them. But what people forget is that this phase is not the end of a mother's relevance. It is the beginning of her spiritual strengths. She becomes the emotional backbone of generations. There is a story of an elderly mother who lived alone after her children settled in different cities. In morning, she sat near the window with her prayer beads. A neighbor once asked her, "Why do you pray so much now? Your work is done." She smiled gently and replied, "My work has only changed. Earlier I prayed while working, now I work only by praying." That is the quiet evolution of a mother's strength. A mother's prayers carry gratitude and surrender. She thanks God for what was given and seeks strength for what remains. She prays not just for her children, but for the world they live in. She prays for peace in times of chaos, for kindness in times of cruelty. Often, a mother's sacrifices are misunderstood. People assume she had no dreams, that she simply accepted life. But acceptance does not mean lack of ambition. It means choosing love over ego, service over self, purpose over applause. That choice requires courage many never develop. Some mothers raise children in hardship, limited money, limited support, limited recognition. Yet they create homes filled with values, discipline, and emotional security. Those children grow up rich in character, even if they were not rich in resources. And when they succeed, the foundation is rarely acknowledged. There was a woman who worked as a cleaner. She left home before sunrise, returned exhausted. Her children never saw her rest. Years later, when one of her daughters became a doctor, someone asked her, "Who inspired you?" She said, "My mother. She showed me what dignity looks like, even in the hardest work." That is hidden strength. That's shaping visible success. A mother's love is not perfect, but it is sincere. She may make mistakes. She may be overprotective. She may worry too much. But all of it comes from care, not control. Understanding this often comes late in life, when children become parents themselves. And when that realization comes, there is both gratitude and regret. Gratitude for the love received, regret for the times it was taken for granted. A mother's silent prayers often include apologies she never says aloud for moments when she was too tired, too strict, too emotional. She asked God to cover what she couldn't. That humility is also strength. In a world that celebrates loud confidence, a mother teaches the power of quiet consistency. In a world obsessed with results, she teaches patience. In a world chasing validation, she teaches contentment. Even when her children forget to call, forget to visit, forget to ask how she is, she continues to pray. Not because she is weak, but because her love does not depend on behavior. It flows naturally like a river. True strength is not measured by how much you endure alone, but by how much you give without losing compassion. Mothers live this truth every day. If society truly understood strength, it would look differently at mothers. It would see courage in daily routines, heroism in patience, leadership in nurturing. A mother may not write books, but she writes values into hearts. She may not give speeches, but her silence teaches resilience. She may not be remembered by history, but she is remembered by lives. So when you think of strength, do not only think of power, dominance, or achievement. Think of a mother sitting quietly, praying for someone else's future. That is strength refined by love. That is power guided by humility. That is a mother's silent prayer and her hidden unbreakable strength. And perhaps the greatest tragedy of modern life is not that mothers suffer, but that their suffering often goes unnoticed until it is too late. We praise success loudly, but we whisper gratitude. We celebrate independence, but forget the hands that held us until we could stand on our own. A mother rarely asks for recognition. In fact, many mothers feel uncomfortable when praised, not because they don't deserve it, but because love for them was never a transaction. It was never, "I did this, now appreciate me." It was simply, "This is my responsibility, and I will do it with my whole heart." There is a quiet scene that plays out in many homes. A mother waits late at night until everyone has eaten. She listens for the sound of the door closing safely. Only then does she rest. That habit stays with her for life. Even when children grow up, even when they live far away, a part of her mind remains alert, protective, watchful. And this constant alertness, this emotional vigilance, is exhausting. Yet mothers carry it without complaint. They do not call it sacrifice, they call it love. Many mothers carry emotional pain they never share, disappointments, broken dreams, unfulfilled desires. They swallow these silently because they believe their pain should not become a burden for others. But just because pain is hidden does not mean it is small. It simply means it is carried with dignity. There was once a mother whose son asked her, "Why do you never talk about what you want?" She paused and said, "Because for many years, what you wanted became what I wanted." That sentence carries both love and loss intertwined. As children grow, a mother's role changes, but her care does not disappear. It transforms. She learns to step back, to give space, to trust values over control. This letting go is not weakness. It is one of the hardest forms of strength. Letting go means allowing your child to make mistakes, knowing you could prevent the pain, but choosing growth over comfort. It means watching from a distance, praying instead of interfering. That restraint requires immense inner power. And when children stumble, mothers do not say, "I told you so." They say, "Come home, rest. We will figure it out." Home for many people is not a place. It is a person. And often that person is a mother. Even in conflict, a mother's love remains intact. Arguments may happen, words may hurt, distance may grow, but the emotional door never closes. Forgiveness comes